Speaking of America, the Olympic track star Noah Lyles, very accoladed, a real deal athlete, has gone viral for his comments about basketball and the NBA in America.
Wait, who is he?
So he was a track star because right now it's like the Olympic.
So the track star speaking about basketball.
Yeah, track star speaking about basketball. Already red flags. But it's so it's not the actual Olympics right now, but I think it's like a lot of the prelims and a lot of the stuff that leads to the Olympics, actual tournaments that these Olympic athletes partake in right now is happening.
Yeah.
Even with basketball, you see like the Dominican team, shout out to Carl Anthony Towns, and like countries are playing right now against each other for certain sports. So he went viral for his statement, and we'll listen to the statement right here with this very influxed, almost damn near, in my opinion, annoying as fuck tone, because he comes off arrogant. But I do see his perspective slightly, but overall, I think that this man is definitely of an arrogant nature with just the tone, the way he's fucking talking.
World champion of what? The United States? You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA. World champion of.
So, before my opinion, we have Drake saying in a comment on Instagram, on Academics' page, he said, Drake said to this man, he reacted, he said, this is Drake's reaction, he thought this speech was going to be so hard in the mirror the night before, ... Now the whole league doesn't rate you. Because there's so many NBA players, Kevin Durant, the entire NBA is right now against Noah Lyles. They are completely against his statements. They are clowning him. They are coming at him. And I look at it like this, right? When you're an Olympic athlete, you literally are in a format where you are representing your country and you're facing other countries.
Right.
That's his
argument.
That's the whole thing you're doing, right? To compare to the NBA, from his perspective, is not fair because it's a completely different situation. The NBA is literally the National Basketball Association. It's a national type of situation where you have Toronto, maybe that's as international as it gets, but it's still North America. But for better example, you have Boston versus New York. States and cities are facing each other. You can't compare that to actual countries facing each other. So I get it from that perspective, right? But he comes off very like, the United States, what the country, like offended by it. I don't think he should be offended because he has to also realize, first of all, it shouldn't make the comparison at all. But if you want to make the comparison, let's have some fun, right? Okay. There are 120 different, there are 120 basketball players from 40 countries and like 6 continents in the NBA alone. Right now, the NBA, we had an NBA player in here, Cole Swider, talk about how the NBA is becoming more international. Mm-hmm. So right now, the NBA is very worldly. The number one player in the NBA right now, the MVP, Nikola Jokic, international player, not from America. Mm-hmm. The whole celebration, he was dying to go. I just want to go home. I want to go home. He hated America. He didn't want to be here to celebrate. He didn't want to celebrate with his fucking team. Mm-hmm. He wanted to fucking go back home. He went back home. Luka Doncic, the biggest stars in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the biggest stars from Greece, the Greek Freak. We literally have the Greek Freak. So there's international stars within the NBA. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, traditionally, the older, like in the 90s and early 2000s, the NBA championships would say world champion, world champion. So I do see that perspective where it's like for them to say world champion, they are not a world league. It is a national league. It is not the World Basketball Association.
Right.
It is the National Basketball Association. Yeah. So there could be a player right now in China that just hasn't had the opportunity to play in the NBA, but could be arguably better than a Steph Curry. Maybe, right? Who knows? I'll say this much. The chances are very fucking slim. The chances are very fucking slim. Because you see, there's a perception with America where we send these athletes to China because they're bust. They suck in the NBA, so let's send them to China. So we're assuming that international players suck. But in reality, international players are the biggest players in the league. So there's like this weird dichotomy and like this hypocrisy. But I'm not for just the full-on clowning of him, even though it's hard not to with his fucking annoying ass. The United States, like it's like
champion of what?
Champion of what? Like, bro, hold up, bro.
That tone is crazy.
You talking crazy, bro. You sound like very like God. I'm a nerd myself in certain aspects, but you sound like the type of nerd no one wants to be. Like it's like you're on some other shit, bro. Like calm the fuck down, right? But aside from that, the whole league coming at him, the NBA players, I mean, he's gonna have to deal with that shit. Now, that's gonna be something, bro. I want to see his response now. Are you gonna stand by this? Like, what do you want to elaborate? You know, I feel like he should have elaborated and just not spoke with that arrogant tone of like, oh, I like the America sometimes and this and that. Because, first of all, you're a track star. You're talking from a perspective that is so different. You're in a different sport. You're in a whole different organization. Mm-hmm. You're playing against different countries. Mm-hmm. Like, how can you compare the NBA? The NBA is the top of the line basketball in the world. Like, you can't argue that. It's just a fact. Like, you go across the world, across the country, and every country, Japan, Australia, everyone wants to be Michael Jordan. Everyone wants to be LeBron. Everyone wants to be Kobe Bryant. Because the NBA is what it is. No one is saying that about any other like traditional like bobsledding team or like a skiing team. Like no one talks about like these other Olympic sports. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
very niche.
It's very niche. Like the traditional Olympic sports are so niche that you only really speak about them when it comes to Olympic time. When it comes to track stars, etc., no one is talking about a track star's, seasonal actual race in March. No one cares like that.
Imagine, because he said, sometimes, you're not representing us no more.
They might have to strip. Imagine that.
Oh, that'd be crazy, bro.
Noah Lyles might be dick riding USA so much, they're going to have to tell him that you can't represent us too much no more. Let's take your jersey away. You can't wear America on your shoulders.
But I mean,
the United States.
Yeah, but he's mostly like tight about the NBA saying world champions. Technically, him saying that they would be the world champions because it's against countries and shit like that.
So that's the thing. I think that's a perspective that he wanted to hit.
That's his argument.
Like his argument was the league, right? But it came off as fuck the players. So that's why the players are mad because they represent the NBA. So he's just talking about the NBA.
Right,
he's talking about the players.
Like he's more important than them.
Exactly. As if he's trying to compare himself to these players directly. Mm-hmm. So that's the fucking problem. Like he's so arrogant the way his delivery is, and it's like it's done wrong.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like you put these NBA players in your position, they're not gonna be able to do what you do.
Hell no.
But you ain't gonna be able to do what they do either. You know what I'm saying?
Noah Lyles probably
Besides
can't.
your stamina, that's it. But I don't know, so like, I don't really know. I don't.
Listen, I would love to see Noah Lyles be in a fourth quarter type of situation, 20 seconds on the clock.
3 down.
Down by 3, being passed the ball, kicked to him by his point guard in the corner of the 3-point line, and with those split-second decisions. What is he going to do?
They gon' love me for my ambition.